So it helps. Honestly, it helps everybody because it keeps the teams out there more, makes a little bit of money in their pocket, the money that they're spending for tires. Shit is not cheap. You know what I mean? Like it's, I mean, for a set of tires is $500. We're going through a shitload of those things, so.
Yeah. Because I know, a set of moto tires is like 100 for the front, like maybe 120 for the rear, and then that allows you 2-3 races, right? And then for you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like 12 laps in that those tires are roached at that point. You need a new set.
Yeah, and we're going to these most of the tracks we go to now are freshly paved. So yes, we're running like harder tires, but sometimes when we put a soft tire on, fuck, they only last 5 laps. And then the tire's shit. Then you got to change it. But we get a lot. Like there's I think we get like 7 fronts, 9 rears, or something like that per weekend. Because we used to, like, back in the day, factory teams would just throw out 3 sets of tires for one 40-minute session. And the privateers can keep up with that. So now it's like we get limited tires. Like you can't just be throwing shit at it all the time. So again, this is a thing that the organization has helped to help privateers. So you get limited.
Yeah, that makes sense because you'd spend $3,000 a weekend just in tires, which is not.
Oh, way more than that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, but yeah, but now, like I said, the organization is helping us out. But like, yeah, we usually do like the first session we do a set of tires, and then the second we'll do like 2 sets, and then kind of so on and so forth from there. Like it's always, we're not changing 2 rears unless we do get a qualifier too, which that only lasts usually like 2 laps.
Okay. So. And how are they regulating that? Are they putting something special on the tires to?
Yeah. So yeah, they prior to the weekend we get tire stickers, and we got to stick them on each tire, and you have an official looking at your tires, and they're walking around the grid. You got to look to see if you have your sticker, and you can't reuse the sticker. So they see how many stickers you have, and once you go through those stickers, that's it.
Okay, and then probably when you pull into the pits for the podium,
they look at them, and okay. Making sure that it's the right compound and all that stuff. Like because like I said, there's some tracks we only can use certain compounds. We can't. They bring specific compounds per track. So let's just say this last track we went to, we had 2 harder compounds. There's 2 pretty hard ones. It was called a R7 and R8, which is the harder compound of like the 4 or 5 tires we can get. And so they check what compound you're running to try to keep it all within this,
So you literally can't show up and ride a different compound what's not for the race.
Yeah. I mean, there's always like 2 or 3 you can pick from, but it's different per track you go to. Like we can't go, like we only had 7s and 8s at our last track we went to. We can't be running an R5 or an R3, even if it could last the race. Those were the tires that they brought for that weekend, so that's all you could run was those 2 rears.
And that's coming straight from just Dunlop. So it's not like you can't bring a Bridgestone or a Michelin or anything. It's just Dunlop.
Yeah, just Dunlop. Yeah.
That is interesting. And then do you guys have like a spec tire versus the tire that you can get off the showroom? Because in moto, all the factory guys from the Dunlop,
2 different ones, right? Yeah, like they can run a spec tire, but no, any standard consumer can buy our tires.
So Moto America is actually more conducive for a privateer than it is in.
They're trying to keep a lot. I mean, again, being on a factory team is definitely a big benefit, but they try to keep it, really, competitive, or at least try to make it competitive for the privateer.
Okay. So. And speaking about tires, because I kind of, I don't know, I get off on tires whenever I go to the races, because in moto, dude, everybody's just running this damn scoop tire.
That's what I'm running.
And really?
Oh yeah, the MX-14,
yeah, but they've got the spec version of it, and nobody will tell me like what the compound is.
Yeah.
Maybe Yamaha and your hookup with Dunlop, they probably will give you some spec 14s, but I really wish that there would be more regulation in moto on like, hey, you can only run this spec tire at like Southwick or someplace where it's real deep, rather than these guys running it all the time, because there's becoming a bigger gap between the factory and the privateer guys, just because technology is improving. Now you got the great starts, the start maps, and there's just so much. And okay, small carry on deal. Before I finish my thought, I think in MotoGP they run like different sidewall compounds compared to what's on the middle of the tire. Like the middle of their tire could be hard, and then the sidewalls could be soft.
We have those too. We have those two for Daytona mainly, though. Like one side of the tire would be soft, one side of the tire would be hard, and then the center will be even harder. So we have that as well. But most of the time, but that's just like a specific tracks.
Okay, and then everyone can run. Like a privateer could buy that specific tire.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So they basically make an announcement before the weekend. Hey, these are the tires. Like Dunlop will do. Like Dunlop Moto America will like get together and be like, okay, here's the tires we're bringing for everybody for the weekend. They can pick whatever ones they want. These 3 compounds for the front. These 3 compounds for the rear. Whatever the team decides is up to you. But everybody can get it. You can go get those tires if you want to.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. With your race coming up this weekend, I'm assuming, do you guys get there a couple days early, or do you just get there on Thursday?
No, I get there on Wednesdays usually. For this race, actually, I'm driving up, so I'm actually going to drive since it's Washington. I'm in Folsom, California, which is nearly 5 minutes from Hangtown. So I'm going to drive up, do a few hours tomorrow, and then finish off Wednesday. And then, yeah, like I said, setup days Thursday. So it's kind of a longer week, but yeah, usually we just fly in on Wednesdays because we only have 2 West Coast rounds for us. And that's Laguna and the Ridge, which is in Washington. Yeah, most of the races are, back east.